Jason,
Danny.
you're very close to me.
Well, yeah, I should have showered today, really, shouldn't I?
There's still time. There's still time.
I have showered. The hygiene is there. I've got a fresh shirt on, but I thought I would just get closer to you and say hello.
Well, I mean, you can sit over there if you want.
Well, I would. But as you can see, by camera C, it's preoccupied. Right there with our special guest.
Hello there.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
I'm very good. Good to be here, finally.
Yes.
See the behind the scenes.
Yeah, the first thing you said to us when you came in here was that this space is much smaller.
It's really deceiving.
As you can see today, we've run out of space. So we're this close. We can't even swivel.
I can't even swivel. Oh, it could be like Battle of the Chairs.
Should have just sat on each other's lap.
Right?
It's just a step too far.
In next week's episode.
That is a different kind of podcast. But no, today it's a special one. For two reasons. One, it's the first time that we have had somebody in this studio and recording for a podcast.
First time someone's been willing to visit us.
Yes, that is correct. But also, we've had logistical issues in the past, but now, although it is still quite tight, you are very close to me. But yeah, that, and also it's we have Matt from Lumix with us now. If any of you were at the summit, then you will notice and remember this man's face. He was there representing Lumix amongst the rest of the team, dishing out all the cameras to you so that you could have a shot of them. And it was awesome. So yeah, Matt, thank you very much for coming on the podcast today.
It's a pleasure. The summit was great. I think, weddings are an industry I know a little bit about, not much, but a little bit. So, being able to get involved with that sort of thing and, represent Lumix and show off the new kit and actually getting to talk to people face to face is really important for us as well. Mm-hmm. And now to come on and chat casually.
Yes. I remember going up to people at the summit and I was like, oh, how you been getting on? And people were just raving about the Lumix stand and, actually being able to get hands-on with it. I think a lot of people were shocked that was, that we trusted them enough to do that, first of all. But, it was, people were loving it. And the amount of times where I had people say to me like, oh, I think I'm a convert here. I can see myself converting right now. And, I had to look at all the footage and the photos that they captured afterwards as well. I'm like, oh my God, it's so good.
I'm not going to lie. When you sent the memory cards to me, I sat and went through them all as well. And it was like, wow, there's some stuff in there.
Yeah.
It's, I think often actually with cameras, you need to get hands-on with it.
Yeah.
We all spend our time shooting and we use what we're familiar with, but actually trying something different. Because it opens your world to different ideas and options, and you start thinking, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
And getting to chat to people, people who didn't even have any idea what we were doing, and having the models as well was a great idea. Yeah. Just going to say, I think I suggested that in a call. Sort of said, definitely have some models there.
It was a great element of the day. Just to give people like a real world scenario that that's on topic of what everybody was there to talk about. Do you know?
Yeah.
Because rather than just there's a camera and then you're like, I'll just take a video of this Coke can or something, and it just it doesn't quite hit the same. Whereas you can do that and you can go, oh bloody hell, the stabilisation here is like awesome.
Yeah.
And
obviously you guys got to have lots of fun with some confetti as well.
We did. Yeah.
You more so than me, to be fair. You were going right about it with
because I'd forgotten about the confetti. So I'd forgotten about it for the first couple shoot, and I was like, crap, we've got all this confetti, we've got bags of it. Like we need to do something with it. So I was like just chucking it everywhere. Yeah. It was great.
Oh man. Yeah. I think we've all been in like a camera shop, just like looking at a new range of cameras and holding it in our hands and feeling what it's like. But as you say, actually getting to shoot some content that might be similar to what you do on a day-to-day basis that was really helpful for people. Yeah. I think people got a massive blast out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's it's something we'll probably explore again for like the next one, to be honest. So because it was a hit. So and there are new toys to play with from Lumix, which is part of the reason why you're here as well, to talk about the new launches. But we will get into that. But first of all, a little bit of background about you. I guess your journey, what you actually do at Lumix as well would be great as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm Matt. As people on Facebook might know me, I'm Matt at Lumix UK. So I've been with Lumix now for, oh wow, having to do maths on the fly. I joined in 2017, let's put it that way. And I studied media production at college, wanted to go into TV post-production, soon realized that I didn't want to make tea and coffee for people for 2 or 3 years.
Fair play.
Whilst living on minimum wage in central London. So I came back up and I needed a job, and one came up for a camera demonstrator in store with absolutely no mention of Lumix at all. And at the time, they just announced a development of the GH5. And I thought, that's the camera I'm going to buy. I was using another brand, and I was like, this is the camera. 4K 60p, don't need to know anymore. And before I knew it, I was in a hotel room in Manchester holding a pre-production GH5. And that blew my mind.
Wow.
Because suddenly you're behind the scenes with the cameras, the manufacturer. So what I do is I travel around retailers up and down the country, usually as far south as Milton Keynes. Don't tend to go much further south than that. And then all the way up to Glasgow and Edinburgh. So quite a wide range. And I do customer demonstrations. So I'm talking to customers every day. And then I also do staff training as well. And then a more recent addition to my role has been social media support. So I'm on a lot of the Facebook groups, both Wedding Videographers group and also Lumix groups as well. And I'm there to basically do support and also do promotion of any offers that we've got on, talk about the new products, that sort of thing. And that's quite an exciting new addition because face-to-face in stories, you're talking to a select group of people, but you suddenly then see everyone's opinions online, and having all that direct feedback to customers is interesting. There's a lot of opinions online, but that's good, and it makes for an interesting day job. And then a slightly more recent addition was doing weddings as well, which is how ultimately led to getting involved with you guys. Back in 2019, I was in a camera retailer, and a colleague asked if I'd shoot a wedding, and all I'd done up to that point was some corporate work for some fairly international companies, in fairness. So I'd done some big jobs, and turned out the bride was a wedding photographer herself. So she saw my other stuff. I was like, I like it. I just need someone. It's in a few days. And I'd always said, you'd have to pay me 20 grand to do a wedding. I'm never going near them. Well, 500 quid later. And you bet I was there filming a wedding, and I'd never even been to a wedding. So in hindsight, I missed quite a lot of important stuff. Finishing doing the dress, no idea. Putting earrings in, pass. I'm, other side of the building. No idea. Messed up my audio entirely. But it was the first time I'd really shot something where it was like, okay, now this is different. I really enjoyed that. And you could really tell a proper story. Yeah. And so I decided to go into it, basically, and supplement Panasonic with also doing weddings. 2019 was the worst time ever to start doing weddings, because we then go into a lockdown. Yeah. But I stuck with it, got a few clients. I was very selective on the weddings I did. It was just to go along with Panasonic, so it was all kind of trying to aim for portfolio weddings, really. And I kind of really enjoyed it, to be honest. But unfortunately, trying to do 5 days a week up and down the road whilst doing weddings and editing weddings, as you guys will know, it takes it out of you. And I just decided fairly recently, I suppose, that I wanted some not social life necessarily, but some mental health back. And
it's a lot. It's a lot when you're juggling like a full-time job and like trying to even just try to get it off the ground is really, really tough, because you go through that journey, don't you, of like maybe doing the kind of like the weddings at not a lot of money, which takes really the same amount of time as it does for a wedding that you're shooting that you're getting paid 2-3 grand for or whatever. There's there's not really any difference here in the amount of work per se.
Not at all.
But you're just it's a bit of a slog. So if you're not if you're not doing this with the aim or like the vision to maybe like leave the 9 to 5 or something like that, then I can imagine that would be quite taxing. Because I think for us when we done it, our goal really was to leave, was to leave the 9 to 5. But obviously, if you've got a job at Lumix, why would you want to leave that?
It's a nice place to be.
Yeah.
And I think weddings, it is so much time committed. It's not so much the day. The day is actually easy, really.
That's the easy part.
It's the afterwards, and spending the time going through all the footage, building up the story.
Yeah.
Ironically, the worst thing I had was doing ceremonial speeches. I don't want to sit through an hour long worth of speeches, but I've got to do it.
Yeah.
And so I would always find myself, I started off really enjoying it, as I said, and I'd get home and that night I start editing, and I'm on the buzz. And the first couple of weddings, that was great. By like the 10th wedding, I don't know if I've done that many weddings, by maybe the 3rd wedding, really, I was just pushing things back.
Yeah.
I'd get home at 6, 7 o'clock at night after being on the road all day. I'll do that edit tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes around. I'll just wait a little bit longer. And then you have to email the bride and the groom. And it's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just really busy at the minute. And eventually you get to the last week and it's like, no, okay, I've really got to do it now.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have kept doing that really. But here we are now. So I think I'm actually going to start trying to slowly get back into weddings again.
Okay.
Been watching more content and getting involved with you guys. It's kind of, especially the summit actually. Ironically, I thought going into the summit, it wouldn't really inspire me that much to go back into it. I thought, I've done with that chapter.
Yeah.
No, by the end, I was like, I'm definitely going to go back
Love
in.
that.
There's so many inspiring people out there. It's not like it was 15 years ago where a lot of people were kind of doing different styles. There's inspiration from all over the world and so many different people. And people who I've seen, who started about a year ago, I'm seeing the content they're putting out now and I'm going, wow. Like I knew at some point I'm going to have to pull my socks up and actually really try something different and bring up, but that time came a lot sooner than I was ready for. People are really bringing it.
There's so much more education on offer now, and free education as well.
Yep.
I guess like for instance like podcasts and stuff like that has allowed people to like leapfrog in a way that maybe like 10, 15 years ago they wouldn't have been able to do. So
And even like when you said you started and obviously you missed certain things, the rules of play aren't that you necessarily need to capture all of these things. You can, like the films that are out there just now are showing us that there's so many different ways to capture a wedding. And if you've seen something that inspires you, it might be inspiring to jump back into it and do it the way that you'd like to do it.
Yeah.
I think, what the deliverables are expected these days are so different to what they used to be.
yeah, because I think even back then, or still in a lot of people's minds, and even like in couples' mind, is that it's like you're there. It's like a full documentation of the day or whatever. Whereas I think it was Richard Lang when I was on his clarity course was talking about it's like change the viewpoint of like there to just like to document the day or whatever to you're there to make a film. Do you know what I mean? So it's like all these bits and pieces don't need, unless they've, for instance, that bride said I absolutely want this part captured or whatever. It's like don't stress too much about that. Just make a beautiful film.
That's on the point of that. Before we went on air, I was telling you about the Wes Anderson film that I shot earlier this week.
Which you're very brave for doing.
Like I remember as the date got closer, I was like, okay, like study. And I looked through. It was way more prep than I've done at any other wedding because I'm looking for stylistic approaches, like how do they move the camera, like how are they composing shots, the color, and just like general acting and stuff. But it was probably the first time I've shot a wedding that I had a sort of a vision of what it should look like before going into it. Sure. Normally when I shoot weddings, I'm kind of capturing the moments as they're happening, and at the end of the day, I've got a collection of clips that I can use. But with this, I got to halfway through the day and I'm like, there's not really a shot that I've captured today that I wouldn't use in the edit. And I can't say that for every wedding. And like going into it, making a film, just it made me feel so much better when I got to that edit suite, and I was like, okay, I've got the ingredients here that I need. It's there. There was still a live element to the day and a little bit of uncontrol, but I went there with the intention of making a film rather than just capturing a bunch of stuff. And I really feel like maybe I should try that a bit more often. I just don't know how my style would allow that to happen.
Well, as we were saying in that same conversation, when I was doing weddings, I'd get there in the first hour. You don't really know what you're going to capture, but but after that hour, I'm now shooting for the edit. I've already in my mind created the wedding film, and it's like, okay, I need X, Y, and Z, and I know exactly how this wedding's going to end. I know the final shot already, and I think maybe because I started off wanting to do post-production, that maybe helps me. I'm not there to just, I do, but I'm not there to just spray and pray and, hope I get everything. I'm a lot more selective on what I'm getting. And so I imagine for the Wes Anderson stuff, you already know what it's going to look like. And so it's probably almost a little bit of freedom. There's pressure, but it's like, I've got what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I didn't feel too bad about missing certain points of the day because I was too busy getting like the reception room sort of fork twitches and things like that to like, oh, okay, they're doing group shots outside. I should have probably got that. But I had enough of them being quirky in the morning and their couple shoot that I'm like, I've got enough to make the film. Like, we're good. So
I think as well for something like a Wes Anderson film, like there's a massive time sink in that to get it done properly. Do you know what I mean? Which means that something's got to give.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which your couple, I think that probably comes from like kind of, I assume you maybe already done this anyway, but like it's like an educational piece with the couple to say like, just so you know, this is going to take a bit of time to get stuff done.
Well, they didn't even fill in their client questionnaire before the wedding, so they called me a month before the wedding to downgrade their package because they had to make some sort of cost savings. So we went from 2 videographers to 1 because originally they had hired me to do an office style wedding, which I have done before. It's actually easier because you can basically just throw situations. Here, quickly look at the camera, Jim. Look, right? Like you can throw things in there. This was obviously way more stylized. So on that call, I said, look, there will be a little bit more, like, to and fro with me on that. And that was kind of the only education. The bride didn't actually really get it initially in the morning. It was definitely more his idea than it was hers. So that kind of knocked my confidence initially, because if I'd had a call before with both of them, I would have got it. But eventually she got on board and really got the idea of what we're going for. So, but yeah, that would be recommended. For next time. I definitely need to write, this is how I'm going to approach it, this is what to expect, and this is what to tell your wedding party as well, so they can get involved too. But you just have to lead with it essentially. So what kind of threw me off was the celebrant was one of their family members because they were Americans that came over, and he did not get it. He actually asked me, like, because I was going to do the ceremony, the classic ceremony shot where you've got one aisle of guests and another aisle of guests just looking forward. And I did one, and he tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Are you filming here all day?"
Oh no!
I was like, "All day, baby." And I was like, "Wow, take me from here to here on one blow."
FYI, can you please just?
So the ceremony definitely just went, well, there goes traditional. Back to the back of the alley go. Let's revisit this one later. By the way, I have a microphone for you.
He's just going.
I'll speak loudly enough. Thank you very much. I don't need that.
Still delivering your wedding films by USB?
Ew.
We use VidFlow, the sleekest platform for delivering your wedding films. It makes your couples feel like they've got their own private Netflix.
Plus, with their white labeling service, you can customize everything from the branding to the custom domain, so you can make it super personal.
Want to wow your clients? Use the code TWVP10 to get 10% off all pro plans, including white labeling service.
Head on over to vidflow.co today and level up your wedding film delivery experience.
Let's talk about backlog.
Woo!
Editing piles up fast and is overwhelming.
That's why we use brideandgroom.video, a wedding editing company that delivers stunning wedding films faster without compromising on quality.
If you're looking for an editor that's going to match your unique style so it feels like you've made them, you've found them.
Use code TWVP75 at checkout to get £75 off your first order and try out their service.
Clear your backlog and grow your business. Try brideandgroom.video today.
Hasta la vista, backlog. Right, well, we digress. So, wanted to do some quick fire questions with you, if I could find my phone. So, just on Lumix. So these will be really, really quick. There's about 5 or 6 of them. So, first Lumix cam.
The first one I used was a G80.
Okay.
which is a little Micro Four Thirds camera.
Yeah.
The first one I owned was a GH5.
GH5.
I
That
did
was the
buy
same
that
as me.
camera.
You buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that GH5. It was so good. That was my first Lumix cam. Favorite Lumix cam?
Controversial, but I do really like the S9, and it's got to be the S5 too. The GH5 was great, and I loved it. It got a lot of work for me, but the S5 too is a game changer.
It was.
Yeah, I still use that today.
I had Lewis out with me last weekend.
Using his S9?
Yeah,
Was
he won the
Oh,
S9
yes.
at the summit, and had him second shooting for me, and he brought it out, and I was like, oh, there it is, all right, there it
Is
is.
he loving using it still?
Like,
Yeah.
he tells everyone about it. Like,
Yeah.
he's obsessed with it. So he's on the stories all the time saying, just using the S9, I wanted it.
Yeah,
that.
he was
Yeah.
buzzing at the show
Yeah,
about
I mean,
that.
I would have been. I wanted it. Like, I think it's such a cool little, like, just a small form camera. Like, it's ideal for like, you know, content creation and like travel and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to just take it away because the best part is it takes all the lenses that I've already got, which
Yeah.
is like amazing.
Yeah, because
You know?
he'd set up the wide angles for the speech, and I was like, oh, Lewis, I need something to capture reactions. He's like, S9. So, yeah, it was cool.
Is that also, just quick side note, is that also got rid of the recording limit on it?
So when it released, it was limited.
And
We've added an option to remove that.
Remove
but
it,
You
but-
may hit some limits
Yeah,
after long.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because there's no fan and stuff like that,
No
is there?
fan,
Yeah. So
What I mean, we're digressing now on an S9. The one thing the thing that I really love about it is it takes the seriousness away from using a camera.
yeah,
Yeah, and we get obsessed with the tech and the specs and having a viewfinder and all this.
which will be quite what's the word, daunting for somebody to
Yep.
like looking at a camera and be like, oh, that looks too camera for me.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that then looks, oh, this looks friendly.
Yeah.
Like this looks quite simple.
The way I
you know?
sometimes describe it, think of it like a point and shoot full frame camera.
Yeah.
Put it in auto mode, just take some pictures, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worrying about the finest little detail and
Yeah.
pixel peeping. Just have some fun.
Yeah.
Take my card.
Happily, you want to?
Okay, next question. Favorite lens?
Can I pick two?
Okay. Well,
So, for
well,
Micro Four Thirds, the 42.5mm Leica Nocticron. It's a f1.2. It's an 85
I was
mm
going to
equivalent.
say I was doing that. Yeah, 85.
It's a beautiful lens. So for Micro Four Thirds, you cannot go wrong with that.
Okay.
For full frame, it'd have to be the 50mm 1.8. It's an affordable little lens. And yeah, it's great. It sticks on my camera all day long.
It's on my camera over there.
Right there.
My S1, I love that lens. It's so good, and like it is like seeing in terms of like the cost for like a lens at like 1.8, like it's so cost effective. Like
absolutely.
it's such a brilliant, versatile little lens. Primer zoom.
Prime.
Okay, yep, same.
Prime lens.
You would say.
Zoom, yeah. But I'd love to be prime.
ND or crank.
ND.
Good
ND.
answer.
I have. I've changed my.
No,
shutter
quit while you're
speed,
ahead. Good
but
answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Actually, wait. No, because it's a good point. No, it's a good point. Keep your shutter speed where it is, 180-degree shutter angle.
Yes.
If you really need to, just change your aperture. Sacrifice that depth of field.
I think too many people are stuck on that maximum aperture, aren't they? Like when you really can. Although,
It actually brings me on to the most underrated lens, and that actually that segues quite nicely into this, and you'll get this in a second. But most underrated lens.
So for me, and I was thinking about this a lot, it'd have to be the 20 to 60mm.
Right on it, right? So for that reason, because I used to hate it because I was like, variable aperture, it's so annoying, it's so irritating. Because I wanted everything at like 2.8 or 1.8. But then there's like situations where it's like you don't need the 2.8 or 1.8 all the time. Like sometimes it's actually helpful to have things in focus. Like and not just the middle of a group shot. Like,
sometimes it is helpful to have things in focus.
No, because sometimes I've like looked at it and went, like I probably shouldn't have shot that at 1.8. Like I should have probably shot it at like 3.2 or something, or whatever. So I have now that lens has now started coming to weddings with me, whereas before, and like there's a chap out there that the Ross Scobie that I used to joke about, because he goes, I love this lens. I'm like, I just don't like using it. I just don't like using it. Just keep it away. I don't want it. But now I love it because it is so like, it's so versatile. It's like that 20 to 60 range is great. and even with it being variable aperture, like it doesn't really matter. So
No, and I suppose if you think about Hollywood, talking about Wes Anderson, I mean, almost infinite depth of field on them. But if you actually look at a lot of films, the depth of field is really deep. Why is it that when we get to small little hybrid cameras, we all want to shoot at f1.2?
Yeah.
Because actually that isn't a very good,
so
good.
really.
Yeah, I think people just associate bokeh with quality,
Yeah,
don't they?
absolutely.
But it's not necessary all the time. Some of my
It's
favorite
not.
shots are shot at f4.
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
So that lens is great.
Yeah.
That lens is actually really, really good.
And it's the kit lens for most cameras. So
Yes.
you've instantly got a great little lens to go off.
You've
with.
instantly got which as I said, my opinion has now changed. It's a great kit lens to get. So versatile,
So actually, can I do a little plug here? With a lot of our cameras, or some of our cameras, the kit that you can get is a 20-60 and the 50mm 1.8. So the two lenses that we've both just said we really love and that I use all the time, you get them day dot.
Yeah. Aye, so yeah, exactly. So because I had like two 50mm lenses at one point, just because the deal that was on it was cheaper to get it with the lens, which was bizarre. But yeah, like those two lenses, getting them straight from the off is like so good.
Yeah.
Like, and there's been like loads of different kind of like lens combo deals like over the time where the camera's been out. I remember at one point there was like a 3 lens combo deal for like the S5
Yeah, you
too,
got like an 85
an
mil
85, a
and the 10 lens kit.
50, and the 20-60.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was another one with like the 70-200.
That's nuts.
But yeah, I do like my 70-200 as well though. It's nice. It's just so
I do love that.
so goddamn heavy. And right, final question. So one lens that you wish Lumix would make?
So actually, you'll like this, Jace. The one lens I really wish we could make, we can't. It's almost impossible. But it would be a 20 to 150mm f1.8.
I mean, like
It would be huge.
it's all I'd ever need because
You need to hit the gym.
yeah. I mean, I've used
You need a
the
crane.
the Tamron and the Samyang 35-150, and I loved it.
Too big.
I didn't care about the size. You need that 24. You need.
I'm talking 20.
I know, but 20 is even better. Like, but for the because
I mean,
going
it'd
for
be
24-70, that's the only reason I use
A
like
1.8 as well, man. It'd be
yeah.
like
20mm is just necessary. If you're using, because I use one camera, one lens, like for my A cam, and going from 20 is necessary for me. But it just looks so good at 150. I just love it.
So this is actually why I don't use zoom lenses, because for me a 24-70 doesn't quite go wide enough and it doesn't zoom in quite enough. Whereas a 20 to 150 would be everything I ever need. And I wouldn't shoot at f1.8, but at least I'd know I could.
you could if you
And I'm
wanted.
effectively going to get like 7-8 different prime lenses all in one lens.
Yeah.
Imagine.
It would just end lens manufacturing altogether, wouldn't it?
We'd put ourselves
you'd
out of
also have
business.
like serious back problems, like carrying that about.
Oh, I don't know. You just get yourself a rig like Justin Porter and you're fine, eh?
Yeah.
Well, you could do. I mean, that is one way to get rid of the back pain, I guess.
I haven't spoken to a lens engineer about it, but I think it's actually physically impossible to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lens element on the front would be
That'd
huge.
be huge.
Yeah.
Imagine the ND filter for that bad boy.
I'll just crank.
What is a feature you would like Lumix to add to their cameras?
I'd actually hope that we can eventually add a strength option for the image stabilization. We've got great stabilization, but sometimes it can be a bit too much potentially. So imagine if you could have a low, medium, and high strength, and that is not actually the E stabilization, but the body stabilizer.
Ah, right. Okay, cool. Yeah. That could be handy. Like, just pretty much like the AF sensitivity kind of thing, where it's like +1, +2 or whatever.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for that. That was good. I enjoyed that. It's obviously a very big year for Lumix this year. A year, I think that like so many of us that are like Lumix shooters have kind of been like crying out for, because I guess like first phase of like this like was getting rid of obviously like the DFD and then moving on to phase detect, which was like monumental for us, and then this next phase with the S1R2 and the latest edition with the S1II and the S1IIe. But yeah, just wanted to talk about, like, I guess the year for Lumix, because it's shaping up to be like an incredible year. There's like so many good reviews coming out, especially about the S1II. You know, when it comes to like low light capability, the open gate, obviously stabilisation has been just stellar and continues to get better. All focus is continuing to get better as well, and there's different iterations on that. So it's like everything just seems to be happening all at once, and yeah, some of the reviews out there have been like stellar. You know, even Gerald Undone had said that, you know, it's climbed to the top of his kind of like recommendation list, which has almost like dethroned some of the other cameras that were on there and have been on there for quite some time, which is like, again, it's such a good endorsement for the camera and for the brand. So yeah, just a little chat about, I guess, that, how you think the year's kind of like shaping up.
Yeah,
so
sure. I mean, like you say, you know, we've released some great products already. S5 II is a game changer really for us. It was the moment when having the new autofocus system, you know, we're now on a level playing field. And in some ways, you know, surpassed some of our competitors. The S1R2, finally, we now have a high resolution option, 8K video as well, but with that new AI autofocus. And I think it all points to how we're always listening to customer feedback. You know, I said earlier about being in the Facebook groups, well, and talking to customers face to face. The amount of times people said, "When is an S5R coming?" Like a high resolution S5 body. Well, the S1R2 is that basically. And things like the body, you know, we improve the body, the grip is deeper, the viewfinder is different, the screen now having not only the flip out, but it also tilts.
Love that thing.
That's all a lot of customer feedback that we're directly listening to.
Yeah.
And it's something that we're very proud of, that we listen to customers directly. So yeah, S1R2, first camera for Lumix to 8K video. You got 4K, 120 frames per second on full frame as well, which we know a lot of people have been dying out for. And you've got improved stabilization. Lumix, I mean, we basically invented image stabilization. And we're so far ahead that, you know, it's gone even further with the S1 series of cameras. And now we've got the new S1II and the S1IIe. And yeah, those are now the, you know, video hybrid options.
Yeah.
Right? That's the camera for, you know, wedding guys, documentary filmmakers, anyone who's doing video content who needs a little bit of stills performance, but it's all about video, then that's where that comes in. And we have 4K 120, you know, which a lot of people have been asking for. And we've even now added false color, so it's even more professional exposure tools, right? And we get obsessed about the tech, but actually just having a little button that you can press that you've programmed, and now you can, you know, check your exposure properly and quickly turn it off. Those are small little features that we really, you know, try to put into this camera. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, the perfect hybrid option. Well, as one person said, there is no perfect camera, but this is as close as it gets, right?
So I guess just to clarify the current lineup. So the S1R2, we would say, because I mean that I'm using that at weddings just now because it's a highly capable video camera. There are obviously like some limitations with it. Just, you know, it's because I believe it's constantly shooting in 8K and then it downsamples into 4K, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I think with I am using that at weddings. It's generally my A cam, and then when it comes to maybe like ceremony and speeches, I kind of use that for like maybe like reactions and stuff. And then I've still got my trusty S5 II, which I love those. But I think that S1R2, who would you say that's kind of like designed for, that camera?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So the S1R2 is very much a stills-based hybrid.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a photographer who needs a little bit of video, or where you need, you know, a backup option with 8K that you can just punch into, but it's not your primary camera at all. That's what the S1R2 is there for. The fact it can do 8K video is great, right?
Yeah,
but
it's wild.
Kind of just an extra bonus. It's designed as a stills camera.
Yeah.
And that points to some of the choices that we've made with that body. I think when we released it, I think people thought it was an S1H replacement. It's not. It's an S1R.
Yeah.
Yeah, an S1R2. So always remember that.
Yeah, so it's a photo camera that can do video really, really well.
Yeah.
You know, so because I look at it and I kind of think it's probably it's like the perfect camera for a hybrid photographer.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that's on the go, taking stills, and then just needs to very quickly, which is so simple. See, with those the dial switches, I love those, by the way. Like, and I love that you get a whole other. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, on the camera, there's like a dial switch that you can choose from video to photo. But then on the other side, there's the dial switch where you have like custom modes, which you can have up to 7. 7? Because you've got 5, then you've got 5, 1, 2. Anyway, you've got
8.
a dial 8. So you've got a dial on the other side, which you can choose all your custom modes. But if you switch from like photo to video, you've essentially got 5 other, you know, or 8 other custom modes that you can go between. You 8 photo custom modes and 8 video ones. Just at the flick of a switch, and it's so good. So I think for like a hybrid photographer, that's like the perfect camera. You know, you've got the ability to shoot in 8K. Realistically, as wedding videographers or photographers, we're probably not going to want to shoot in 8K.
Probably not.
Because the file sizes are absolutely massive, and you're going to need a really powerful computer to deal with that. But just having that flexibility, you know, it's got a 44 megapixel sensor. So really high megapixel sensor. But the good thing about that camera as well is, which Jason and I have kind of covered in some of the BTS, because there is some BTS coming out soon, is the ability to punch in, like, the pixel crop. So obviously you can punch into APS-C, but then you can punch in again to the pixel. And I believe, I might be wrong on this, so don't hold me to the coals, but I think it's something like a 2.2 crop at pixel, which basically puts if you've got a 35, you can turn it into almost like a 50 with APS-C, but then you're almost turning it into, I think it was like 75 or something like that you're getting. Or 70-ish, 72 or something.
Yeah, I
found you're getting from the pixel, which is amazing to think that from a prime lens, you've got 3 focal lengths, and that's all to do with, you know, the size of megapixel sensor that's there, with being 44, that you get that much crop from it, and not lose the
I think
detail.
Just to explain how that works. So when you've got, say, a 44 megapixel sensor, it's an 8K sensor.
Yeah.
So if you're recording in 4K 25p, you're actually recording an 8K image and just downsampling it. If you go into pixel-to-pixel mode, you're actually just recording a 4K resolution on the sensor. So you're not recording the rest of it. You can punch all the way in. You still got 4K quality. It's just not downsampled anymore. Yeah. And actually, there are some guys who still shoot full HD, and pixel-to-pixel for them is like, zoom all the way in.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like
it's still
James
full
Webb.
HD.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
I mean,
it's a feature that that, because you have the option to do it obviously in the S5 too, but when you're in 4K, it's the crop is minuscule. It's I don't even know if it's like point, to be honest, but with that, I find it super handy. And it's a feature I use at every wedding now. Like it's just so, because you can choose. Do you know what? I'll stand back, but I'll just punch it in.
Like in the drinks reception, when you've got to be stealthy and you don't want to like put people off, and times where I'm thinking I used to switch to my 7200 in those points, I no longer need to, because I can just be anywhere and punch in, and it's great for those moments. Yeah,
it's really handy. So, and it's a reason why, like, I would still keep that camera on my hip, even though it's a still camera, you know, focused.
Yeah.
I'll still keep it on my hip just for that feature alone, because it just gets you out of pinch. Because I don't use zooms anymore.
Yeah, so I mean that's why I just use a 35 and a 50, right? Because I can punch in, and those two become alternative options for me. But actually, on the newer cameras, we've introduced something called hybrid zoom. So for a zoom lens user, you can now combine digital zoom with the optical zoom simultaneously, and it's effectively going to go down to that pixel-to-pixel mode the more you optically zoom. So a 24 to 70 is now a 24 to 100 and whatever mil f2.8, and you don't have to think about it. It's just turn it on, zoom in, it's done, and you're not really going to lose any quality. Don't get me wrong, there'll be a little bit of drop, right? You're no longer downsampling a higher res image, but if that means that one lens, almost becomes a 20 to 150 mm
Oh, there you go.
1.8.
Hello.
Or be at 2.8. Yeah. Suddenly
Yeah.
that's a new option, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's that mode is handy, to be fair. But yeah, I think just for me, just the way I've got my camera set up, because I know obviously the Lumix cameras are so customizable, so it's like I could hand you my camera and you'd be like, why is that
What
button
is
doing?
this?
Why have you done this? 'Cause I know I've had like a couple of people borrow my cameras and they put their settings into it, and I'm like forgotten mid shoot, and I'm like, oh my god, why is the up button not going to like punch in? Like, why can I not punch in? Why is that putting stabilisation on or off? But yeah, like the way I've just got it set up, it's just like it's so easy for me. Like, so I just like punch in quick, boom, and then I've got like my 50, and then I can go in again. And I've got a 70. It's great. So yeah, no, I think that camera is that S1R2 camera is like a phenomenal camera. Can do video very, very well, but yeah, it is primarily a stills camera. Brings us on to the latest edition, which we are super excited to get our hands on.
Well, there is one right here.
Oh, as if by magic. Give me that here. Give me that here.
Get your hands
There it
on
is.
that.
Stop touching it. It's the same. It's the same.
Well, we
body.
should just say what this is. So this is the S1 II.
Very, very, very well. Very well done. Sorry, I'm lost for words. So this is the brand new S1 II. Very excited with this release. Not only that is this the S1 II. I can barely speak, but this is also the 24-16 new 2.8 lens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, and it's a really, really light lens.
Yeah.
So light. And yeah, no, this is so it's the same body as well, isn't it? Of the
Yeah, so the entire S1 series is the exact same body.
Yeah.
Which means that if you're a hybrid user and you're switching between an S1R2 and an S1 II, everything is exactly the same.
really handy for like cages as well. Like yeah.
Absolutely. And so S1 II, totally different internals really. The new lens as well. We wanted to really focus on making some more compact options for customers. The reason we chose 24-60 is because it is a lot shorter than the 24-70, but with that hybrid zoom or punching into APS-C or pixel to pixel, you can get that extra length if you really need to. But if you don't, then have the extra weight saving and size saving.
So yeah, you're not getting the same pixel punching. It almost goes back to the minuscule way of like the S5 too.
Yeah,
so like look here. So there, it's like minuscule.
Yes.
Yeah, because APS-C is a 1.5 times crop. So I think pixel to pixel on a 24 megapixel sensor is, it's like a 1.6 times crop. So it's barely anything. One of the things that we have on the camera is the ability to save your custom settings, right? So if you set the camera up exactly how you like the camera, you can save that to a memory card. If I pick up your camera and I've got a memory card with my settings on it, I can load mine up, shoot how I want to shoot on your exact camera, and then give it back to you, and you put your settings back on.
Yeah, I've used that feature quite a lot.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a handy feature. So so this is the S1 II. Very, very excited with this camera launch, because this just seems to like tick all of the boxes, especially for like wedding filmmakers. When it comes to like a wish list for a camera. So let's just talk about the specs on this then.
Sure. So it's a 24 megapixel partially stacked sensor. So what that means for anyone who doesn't know, I'm not getting into exactly how you design and manufacture a sensor, but it makes the sensor read out a lot faster.
Okay.
So the benefit of that is less rolling shutter and higher frame rates, right? You can potentially have lower image quality traditionally, but what we've tried to make sure with this camera, being a video first brand, is that we haven't sacrificed any image quality just to have a faster speed. That's not what we're going to do. So the stacked sensor gives us 4K 120 frames per second. You've also got 6K up to 60 frames per second as well,
because that's new.
That's new. Yeah. So we now also have an open gate at 50 frames per second as well, or 60 frames if you're in America. And so with that, you can shoot the entire sensor and you can crop for whatever aspect ratio you want, and yet it's at 50 frames per second.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't love a bit of slow motion?
Right.
Right? Everyone.
Yeah.
And so that open gate, I suppose for a lot of people won't be familiar with open gate, but it's the idea of recording the entire 3:2 aspect ratio rather than a 16:9.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're creating content for your highlight film, or your ceremony speeches, but you also want content for Instagram Reels, TikTok, etc. Well, for them, you need a vertical aspect ratio. And a normal 16:9 content, it's quite tight if you try and crop that for social media. But Open Gate just gives you more flexibility. And even actually, if you don't want to do social media content, you can move your frame up and down for a 16:9 crop or a 2.4:1. So in post, it just gives you more options anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone should just shoot Open Gate.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you?
I think now for the fact that you've got 50, because I think if you think of, like, a lot of us will shoot 50 pretty much all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Guilty as charged.
yeah.
Yep.
Apart from maybe like ceremony and speeches, so I would say that previously with the Open Gate and the Lumix cameras, that was probably the thing that probably held me back from using it, because I would have to trust myself to remember to put it back into 50 and then I'd be like, I've just shot that full couple shoot in like 25p and hope that like something like Topaz AI can like get me out of jail or something, you know? So yeah, I think now that it's got it, then it's a bit of a no-brainer. It's like, well, I might as well shoot it.
There's
you know?
no loss to doing it.
No,
so
none.
you might as well.
None. Whereas before there was maybe a drawback. Now it's all gain and no loss, which is awesome. So yeah, no. And then what else have we got that's new then?
So some of the extra features we've added is a new SSD copying option. So you can actually take the media that you've recorded internally and back that up to an SSD. So you can actually copy all the media from the internal storage to your SSD, and actually you can do it the other way. So if you've been recording to an SSD, you can back it up to the SD card or the CF Express.
Huh.
So whilst you're on a wedding, you get to your, the dinner, and instead of loading up the laptop and messing around taking memory cards out, just plug in an SSD, back it all up, job done.
Yeah,
So good.
that's handy. Because I'm looking at that thinking, you finished the wedding, you're driving home, just plug in the SSD and then bang, like that's like, because if you think about it, like for most of it is we have like one A cam that we shoot the majority of our stuff on. That's it has way more shots on it, gigabyte
That's where
wise
the
than
chunk
the
of
other.
your teaser is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So just do that, bang, put the SSD in, transfer all the footage, and then when you get home, it's like your main camera, you don't need to worry about like backing up because it's already done on the drive home.
Yeah.
Like, and if you really wanted to, I mean, a lot of us have multiple SSDs. If you have multiple S1.2s or an S1R2 or whatever, just do it to both of them. Boom. Can you get that? Does that work in the S1R2?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as
So it's
well,
on
yeah.
all S1 series of
That's
cameras.
great. That's handy.
And actually it means that you could just plug your SSD in at home and start editing straight off an SSD.
Exactly, yeah. It's like all you need to do is the audio. 'Cause I know that's a big thing for me when I leave or when I come home from a wedding. I have this thing in me where I have my routine of what I do, because if I don't, I have this like innate fear that I'm gonna forget to back something up.
Yeah.
So like no matter what time it is when I get home, I will plug the SD cards in. I've got my pro grade dual card reader thing, and then off it goes. But if I'd already had that on an SSD, it means I can get to my bed.
Yeah.
So that's so good.
I mean, I just had 4 weddings in a row, which meant that the process was come home, back everything up, do that, get stuff ready. But if I would just had an SSD for each wedding, it would have been solved. So obviously we covered a bunch of features that are available on this. Is there anything else that people who are filming a wedding might get an advantage out of if they're using this?
Yeah. One feature that we've got that not many people know about is Frame.io integration. So the idea with that is you have a mobile data connection, just leave your phone and camera connected, and as you're filming in real time, proxy files will get uploaded to the cloud, and then when you get home, not only have you got that backup on the SSD, but all of your proxy files are ready to go and actually could already be within your editing software.
That's
so
nuts.
Immediately you can start editing.
That's amazing. So just by connecting to the hotspot on your phone,
Yep.
doing that. So even like you're filming all day, and then when it comes to like the dinner, you could open your laptop and the proxy files are sitting there on your laptop ready to go. So you can even get a quick, get that confetti shot in, get that first kiss in, get them in position. You might have already found a track that you like on music bed on the way to the wedding that you can just get that in. You could actually do
Same day teaser.
so much work, because I always find at dinner that I'm just backing up cards, and it's like, it takes like 20, 25 minutes and stuff. That's half of your time before your dinner's there. And
Yep.
that's great.
Yeah, that's handy.
Love that.
And it's also great if you're a team. So if you've got an editor who's working at home, whether it be, a family member, spouse, or a company, they can have the files appearing whilst you're still at the wedding. So, you can have a ceremony and speeches edited before you've even gotten home.
Teams, like either husband and wife teams or pals that are working together. That's amazing.
That's so handy.
Imagine getting home and your ceremony speech is already edited. Granted, you don't have the microphones. But,
No.
Yeah.
but having that multiple angle,
But even if it's just syncing the files, right? So that
Yeah.
all of your files are in line with each other,
Exactly.
you've got on-camera audio anyway. So all you need to do is drag in your
Yeah.
main footage. And I mean, I don't know how you guys do ceremony speeches, but I will create a timeline that's got all my multicam stuff in, and then I create a new timeline that I drag one single clip into, and I'm just cutting with that. So to add my proper audio back, I go into the main timeline, drag it in. My
Yeah.
cuts are already done.
yep,
I don't actually have to do any more work.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could get the audio files though and just back them up, because after speeches, again, you're sitting at dinner, you could just do that, upload it to the cloud, boom.
Yep, we
Sorry.
transfer over, done.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's such a class feature.
I think everyone's heard of Frame.io, but not many people actually knew what was capable.
Yeah, I mean, I'd looked at it. The first time I'd actually had like a proper use of it was with brideandgroom.video, because obviously they use it so that you can go and like view the edit and make any comments on it. It's great. It's such a good feature. But again, that's like only kind of like scraping the surface of what it can actually do. So no, that's a fantastic option, especially for like folk that are in teams, that have maybe got like an on-site editor on.
Yep.
I mean, that's great. If you think about that, so see for like doing a same day edit, they can just be culling, as they go, boom, done.
Yeah.
That's just
That shot was crap. That shot was crap. Use that one. Well done, mate. Yeah, it's not even just certain speeches. They can actually cull.
they can just call it all through. Boom.
Wow.
That'd be
Yeah.
so like useful as a team going out.
So what you could also do is you can have that same day edit being done whilst you're filming the wedding at dinner, plug in the SSD that you've just backed up all of your media onto your laptop. You can then download the project file back onto your laptop, open up DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, switch on the main files, export the video. You've got a video that you can show immediately to the couple.
So before the dancing's over, they have their teaser.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine filming the reaction to them watching your video that you've just somehow magically edited.
That's so good.
We'll need to try that. For this launch though, there's been so much thrown at it, because even so with some of the reviews, obviously we've had a hold of the camera there. We've not used it in a live scenario, but I know even just from using the S1R2, the low light performance is far superior to any other Lumix cam that's been out. Because again, I probably, the majority of the time I would maybe shoot in natural profile because it's just great straight out of cam. And I probably wouldn't push the the S5 II past 6400. That was kind of my spot where I was like, this is anything past that. I mean, it was still usable. It's just for me personally, I was like, I didn't want to do too much noise reduction because it would just take up editing time and processing power and stuff. So 6400 was kind of the max that I would want to push in. It can go a lot more, but with this, I've even been able to go past that, and even in something like Vlog, which I mean, the second base for the S1R2 is 1000, which for a base is quite low. The low light performance is it's so good, and it's more than usable way past that base ISO.
Yeah.
You can see the cleanup at the 1000, but then past that, it's still it's not an unpleasant amount of noise, and it's still more than usable. So yeah, I think some people have been dubbing it the new king of low light, which is quite a statement to have for a Lumix cam, which I mean, I'm here for it. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, the low light performance is stellar.
Yeah. So on S1 II, we've got what we call dynamic range boosts.
Yeah.
So the way that affects your low light when you're shooting in vlog, for example. So with dynamic range boost turned off, you've got a base of 640, and then when your higher base ISO is 5000, right? So you're starting off effectively from a super high ISO and getting a clean image. So for low light performance, this is even better than the S1R2.
Yeah.
Now, if you do use dynamic range boost, that's going to give you an extra stop of dynamic range, and you get one native ISO, which is just 1000. But what that's doing is it's actually recording the high ISO image and the low ISO image simultaneously, merging them together. So you actually get a cleaner image by using dynamic range boost rather than not using it.
Right.
But it just changes where that native level is. But yeah, compared to an S1R2 and even S5 II, it's even cleaner.
Yeah.
And yeah, for weddings, how many first dances where you got crappy DJ lights, right? Get that ISO cranked up, especially if we're shooting at 4K 120 now. Well, you need the extra light for doing that because we're not going to start messing around with shutter speeds, are we?
No.
We're going to stick to fixed shutter speed or shutter angle.
Yeah.
Use that ISO. So yeah, and with the new lenses like the 24 to 60 f2.8, getting the extra light in there, it all works together as a video hybrid option.
No, it's exciting. An exciting launch, an exciting year for Lumix. And yeah, I can't wait to see, because as we know as well, like Lumix they push out updates like to the cameras and continually do it. Like, there's recently obviously the hybrid zoom one that came out recently, for the S5 and S5 II and stuff, and and that camera came out. When did the S5 II come out? Like 20.
So that came out in 2023.
Yeah, so they're still like pushing out updates for it, and regular updates as well. So it'll be exciting to see what differences they make, because there's been improvements to the autofocus as well. The autofocus is much better, and stabilisation as well, which was already best in class, continues to get better. I mean, I remember the first time I showed you that Boost IS, where it basically just turns it into a tripod, and it's just like, I use that all the time. It's so good. So
yeah, just ran around the room, how it zoomed in, it was just compressed. I'm like, my God.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, well, that was that. Even with the E-stab as well, the E-stab's like brilliant.
We've actually added a new e-stabilization mode as well to these cameras. So it's something called cropless IBIS.
Yeah.
And what we found with ultra wide lenses is that you would get some distortion in the corners.
Yeah.
And the new cropless mode, it doesn't crop into the image, hence the name, but it enables us to correct for that warping in the corners. So you're now getting an even better image. In fact, I would just leave it on the whole time, especially if I'm doing a gimbal shot or anything like that. But yeah, you put it into standard on e-stabilization. You can walk around whilst holding the camera, and it's like it's rock steady. Put it onto high. There is a crop, but you can almost run with the camera.
Yeah.
And it's like gliding across. So I don't really use a gimbal anymore. With my cameras, if I really must, then on a first dance, I'll use a gimbal just so I can rotate around them and know it's perfect. But
mine's hasn't been coming out now since the S1R2. Mine hasn't been coming out until like something maybe like confetti. Even still, I've shot confetti at 100 frames a second just with the e-stabilization on standard and like walking, like just making sure I'm not like I'm just kind of keeping, elbows tucked in and stuff. But you can, like, with the e-stabilization, you can do like little twists with the flat lay, so it kind of emulates that gimbal movement. So it means that you don't need to kick about with a gimbal, really, which is ideal. Save our backs.
Everyone's ears.
Yeah, well, that's what we all want, right? We're all trying to slim down kit and not have to carry everything if we can. So the more tools that we can give and having better stabilization, better autofocus, better low light performance, so you don't need to take some lights with you. It's all there to help the creator. Yeah. And ideally stop the kit from getting in the way of, you being creative and creating the content you want to make.
Totally. So if only there was a way that people could get their hands on these cameras to test them out, to see if Lumix is the camera for them. But you're in luck, because Lumix does have the Lumix Loan scheme, which you can take full advantage of, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. So we spoke earlier about having the kit in your hands, like at the summit. So we give up to 48 hours free of charge to go and use any full frame lens and any camera be it an S9 if you want to go and have some fun using a little camera, or an S1ii or S1R2, and pick up some lenses as well. It's worth me saying it's both delivered and collected as well. You don't have to do anything.
So, if all of that has made you a little bit curious about getting a Lumix camera, then head on over to the Lumix store and feel free to use the code TWVP to get 10% off your order. And I'll bet it's probably going to be the S1 too.
Absolutely. It's an absolute honour to have you with us today, talking all things Lumix. Yeah, fun.
I've had a lot of fun. Very nervous, but it's been enjoyable. So
Good.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's been awesome, mate. Thank you very much for making the trip and coming to the studio in person, our first person in the studio to chat to us all about Lumix. It's been awesome chatting to you, and yeah.
I know it's been great to not have a buffer between conversation.
I have to wait for a response.
Just a general lag.
Oh God, yeah, that lag is a pain in the arse. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. Well, guys, that's been That Wedding Videographer podcast. I've been Danny.
I've been Jace.
And I've been Matt.
See you next week.